you.
Elegbete TV Radio. We dare to lead. Elegbete TV Radio. Redefining broadcasting.
Listen.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio. This is radio like you never heard before. Elegbete TV Radio, the pathfinder for radio. Elegbete TV Radio. Elegbete TV Radio. We dare to lead. Elegbete TV Radio. Redefining broadcasting. Listen. You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio. This is radio like you never heard before. Elegbete TV Radio, the pathfinder for radio.
Right, they say different strokes for different folks, or you can put it this way: different koboko for different aboki back. Anyhow you be, it is all man with his own kettle, as it is right now. Even from the beginning of time, it is written in the scripture: God for all man for himself. That's exactly what the UEFA Champions League reside right now, because in the quarterfinal stage, it is different story coming from different camp. In the camp of Manchester City, they're feeling good. They're feeling like they are halfway through their next game against Real Madrid. And then in the camp of Bayern, they need a miracle, but miracles are not coming because things are falling apart and the centers cannot hold. I'm sure Julian Nagelsmann will be looking at me smiling and say, you know what, you board of directors or management don't know what I have to deal with every day, don't know the fight that I have to separate, the different characters and the different elements, the principalities and powers that I have to fight against. Oh, you guys don't understand that. What you just think is because I'm a coach. Probably I'm too young to understand. Well, in the camp of FC Bayern Munich, as it is right now, I'm wearing that jersey, but truth must be said. And coming up this end of this month is the Bayern Youth Cup in Nigeria. Enugu have been picked as the center to hold just exactly the same day that the La Liga under 15 tournament will be going on at Ikene. I'm hoping that Emmanuel Sebastian will be there to give you guys all the juicy package, all the stories and everything. We're working on it anyway. If you want to help us to sponsor it, if you want to help us make it easy for us to send Emmanuel Sebastian to Ikene, keep him in the hotel for 3 days, actually 3 nights, 2 nights or 3 days. Let's put it that way. And you can reach out to us and make that possible. We really need all that help right now. And as well, we go into Enugu for the Bayern Youth Cup. We're partners, so we've always been partners, and we'll keep that partnership going, because eventually the talents that are coming, Daniel Francis have gone on to sign for Bayern, becoming the first Nigerian to ever sign for Bayern and was loaned out. And we hope that many more will come off that project that started somewhere in 2019 and we'll be part of it since 2019. We've got all the details and all that. And in that process, we brought in the Bundesliga trophy to Nigeria on 2 different occasions, 2019 and 2020. 2021, we were not able to because of COVID. And 2022, we came back again with it. So 3 times actually, we brought in the Bundesliga trophy to Nigeria. And this time around, we are working very, very hard to bring, since Nigeria is a defending champion at the world level, because the winners from every country goes to compete in Germany. And then they compete, we attended different occasions, we didn't win, but last year we won. So it's a good one that is coming up in Enugu. And I know that you guys want us to talk about the Champions League, but you know me, that I'm always going to put what happened in Nigeria in the front burner before anything. And then again, Darren Lewis, good news. Darren Lewis of the assistant editor at the Daily Mail, who also writes for the Mirror, CNN, and always on your screen on Sky Sports, have agreed to do an interview with us. So thank you very much, you guys, because your subscription and your comments and likes on our video actually give us a lift on that one, because we've hit the mark. We've passed 11,000. So, I mean, we're still going. We still need more, because there are so many other people who are still saying our numbers are not good enough, but it's agreed to give us 15 minutes. I'm hoping that we will get more than that eventually. And after today, after the interview today, we might be able to progress into subsequent interviews, just like we have with Martin Tyler and a few other people. But this is the first one. I will take 15 minutes. Even if he says it's 5 minutes, I will take it. That's how you grow. You don't just ask for an excessive mouthful because you will end up vomiting. You have to master the rope. If somebody, you ask 10 people for interview and 9 are not even responding, the one that responds tells you, oh, I'm very busy, I've got a lot of work to do, but I can give you 15 minutes. You don't say, oh, 15 minutes is too much, give me some more. You just say, okay, thank you very much for that. I will make do with what you're giving me. If the interview goes well, I'm sure they will reach out for more. I remember when first interview told Martin Tyler that I want to interview, he told me that he's not going to do more than 10 minutes. It doesn't show that anybody can interview in more than 10 minutes. So we did the first one, it was 40 minutes. The second one, it was like, okay, can we do just 45 minutes? We did 1 hour, and he didn't want to go. He said, oh, God, you're such a good interviewer. I felt good that day that Martin Tyler was saying that. Okay, and we'll become friends. I hope that I'm able to make a very good first impression on Darren Lewis today when we do the interview later today. And the funny thing is, I've got a list of questions that I want to ask him. You know, about the Premier League, about why an English coach has not been able to win the Premier League, about what we can learn from them, especially now that I'm going deep into the media and production of content for the Nigerian Professional Football League, or the Nigerian Premier Football League, the NPFL. I want to learn from the masters. I want to learn from the people who have mastered the act of using the media to sell a league that is probably not the very best, but made it come across as the best. There's a whole lot to learn. Anybody who sits where they are and say you don't have anything to learn from anybody, that's a lie. Even from a madman, I would be willing to learn from anybody right now, because sometimes you go to the very, very most ordinary place to learn some of the most extraordinary things. That's the why I say, like, let's come back to the Champions League. Yes, it was Real Madrid 2, Chelsea, who's not scored a single goal in the last 4 games, 0. And then with red card as well for Chilwell, Ben Chilwell. And then talking about red card, there was also a red card in the game between AC Milan and Napoli. Zambo Anguissa, also Andre Zambo Anguissa got a red card. Min Jakim also got a yellow card booking that would make it impossible for him to play in the next game in 6 days' time. So I brought up the question, and somehow Victor Osimhen is 50-50. He's got a thigh and a groin injury, and is rated 50-50 for the next game in 6 days' time. The question is, are they out of the UEFA Champions League, or they can work magic at the Maradona? What about FC Bayern versus Chelsea, or Inter Milan Benfica? Inter Milan practically worked magic. Timing is everything anyway in football. And the time they went to go play Benfica has become the beautiful story of this season, even though we know that they've got the Bella Gutman cause. Also didn't have the pair of their 2 center back, Nikolai Otamendi and the other guy who plays with him, because they're out injured and suspended. But somehow magically, they just couldn't get it, and it was the day for Inter Milan. Now they are going to go back. We were hoping that it was going to be a Benfica-Napoli semi-finals on that route, while we were hoping it's going to be Man City, Real Madrid semi-finals on this side, or possibly Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, because you know the way Bayern are good with the Champions League. But unfortunately, it's not looking like it's going to be Man City, Real Madrid. But then on the other side, the 2 teams that we never thought would qualify are looking like they are the ones that will qualify. It's not going to look like the Derby de la Madalena. AC Milan have not conceded in 5 straight games in the Champions League, so you got to be very, very wary of them as well. And look at the way Man City are playing. Seems like they find form at the right time, and every other team seems to be crumbling around them, whether in the league, in the FA Cup, or probably in the Champions League as well. And there was trouble in David's camp as Thomas Tuchel players, Sadio Mane and Leroy Sané, the Senegalese and the Sierra Leonean, they both came to punch, and somehow it was the Senegalese who trumped over the Sierra Leonean soft boy as he gave him bloody mouth, bloody lip in the day. So a lot is going on in that camp, and both of them came off the bench. It's not like they were superstars anyway, you know. And the way it is going right now, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what your thoughts are. There's a whole lot for us to talk about going into the game at the Stadio Bernabeu. it was Todd Boehly who spoke to Sky Sports people, and they said, "Oh, the project is a long-term project. Everybody should relax. Everything is going to be fine." But definitely tonight we're going to beat Real Madrid 3-0, 3-0. That was he said. I really knew that man. When he said that, when I saw that thing on Instagram, I saw this man does not know anything about football. If you know something about football, you won't say you're going to Real Madrid ground to beat them 3-0, right? Seriously, 1-2-3 goes to nothing. They will not even score. If you had said we'll win, I can live with that. But said 3-0. Well, it was 2-0, 1 red card. Seems like Real Madrid were not even at their best, because that's a game that they should have won by 5-0. Chelsea, let's give them credit. In the first half, they were in the game. They did well. They tried. They did what they've not done in other game to keep Real Madrid in check and also attack. Even when with one man down, they also did attack. They also pressed and pushed. But it's a case of I did my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. That was the situation with Chelsea, because compared to other games, this was one of the best games that they played recently, in their last 10 or 15 games, but still not good enough to give them a win or a draw at their Estadio Bernabeu. How many people go there to win? Forget about Villarreal winning there. And again, the worst time to play against Real Madrid is definitely when they're coming off a defeat. So it was all stuck up against them. It would have been against all odds if they had gone on to win anyway. But then there's so much to talk about, so much to do. We're just going to take them apart one after the other. Let's jump into the transfer speculations and see what that story is there. But now we know that Napoli without Victor Osimhen is just another FC Taraba or probably MFM FC of Lagos. It's as simple as that. There's just nothing to about. Yes, they created some chances. So for Stella had a chance cleared off the line, and they were in the game until Rafael Leao decided to do an Usain Bolt and take the ball all through the length of the field and put the ball in the net. But after that, there was nothing again to write home. I think AC Milan could have scored the second goal. AC Milan again have shown why they are a big side in the Champions League. They may not have done well in the last 10 years, but then they just showed Napoli that we are not a one-man team. We just know how to manage the team very well. The good thing for Napoli is that they need just 4 wins to win this Italian Serie A. 4 wins, 12 points. From now, they will be champions. So they could take joy and solace in the fact that after 33 years of winning the Italian Serie A with Maradona, they are going to go win the league again. That could be enough joy. And if they have to get knocked out of the Champions League, I think it is better to get knocked out early now at this stage. And then they say, okay, yeah, this is the class of 2023 that got all the way to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, a place that they've never been to before, and they didn't have the experience, the ability to navigate themselves through it. But then beyond all of that, they would also take joy in knowing that they ended up winning the league title as it is today. Well, having said that, you look at Man City, some commentators said yesterday that the treble is still open for Man City. And I'm looking at the way they are playing, and God, I'm saying to myself, who really can stop Manchester City? First off, Pep Guardiola is a different beast this season. And they've dropped a lot of points. Compared to other seasons, they've dropped a lot of points. But it just seems like it's more of a chess game than a football game for Pep Guardiola. Playing mind games with everybody, eliminate himself from the small cup competition, the Carabao Cup, and focus on the league, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. And it does look like they're going to do it. But you see, the thing about football is everybody is good until, like Mike Tyson would say, until they get punched in the mouth. And that's exactly what happened to Chelsea yesterday. Everybody said when Chelsea is having a bad league season, that's when they win the Champions League. Well, there's still the second leg in 6 this time. Next week, Tuesday, we will see if that theory can be put to test and it can hold water. But other than that, let's look at the other team. Manchester City does look like they would go on to beat Bayern in the return leg. Whether they would do it or they will not do it is a long shot, but it does look like they would do it. But you see, the thing about teams, when you start hearing that they are punching each other, they are fighting, that just could be the reason why they will regroup. Arsenal was on course to beat Liverpool until somewhere in the game, somebody brought out a calabash and blew it and said, yes, let the spirit of Anfield be redeemed. And from 2 goals down, they almost won that game. Even at the luxury of losing a penalty, add another 15 minutes to that game, or probably 10 more minutes, and I'm sure Roberto Firmino would have scored and they would have won. But hey, football is played the way it is played, and all of these dramas are what makes it exciting. So Once again, I come back and say my name is Idafi Mathieu. So you love to come with Elegota Sports. This is the Sports Buffet on Elegota TV Radio. Yes, it's 14 minutes past the hour of 9, and let's jump in on the transfer speculation. What's your club trying to do? One story that hits me very, very hard, that got me surprised. So when Antonio Conte was sacked at Tottenham Hotspur, that's some Sundays ago during the international break, and the whole talk of Julian Nagelsmann coming in, Mauricio Pochettino returning back, a lot was mentioned. Nobody mentioned Vincent Kompany. And then all of a sudden, now the number one target to replace Antonio Conte is Vincent Kompany. And I'm saying, well, it's possible. Yeah, Spurs are a bigger team than Burnley, even though Spurs is shit. And if you are Vincent Kompany, would you sit down and go to a club that you know does not have ambition, does not have progress line in them? There is nothing progressive about this club. And yes, we can say, okay, yes, also Burnley was not really this good until Vincent Kompany comes in. And Vincent Kompany might change them. But then look at the line of coaches that have coached Tottenham Hotspur. Harry Redknapp, Martin Yeo, Mauricio Pochettino, Shepard, what's his name? Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte. If all these guys did not change Tottenham Hotspur, the principalities and powers that is holding down this Tottenham Hotspur, do you really think that it is Vincent Kompany, a rookie coach who's worked wonders? Again, this is why I always say English coaches are not enough. We've not seen an English coach, young English coach, take a team and give them promotion. They come nearly, but they didn't make it. Now Vincent Kompany on his first try, first attempt. This guy just retired a couple of seasons ago, did his badge. First job, boom, it's coming up. I know the Premier League is going to, test him very well because the quality of players, but the style of football that he played with Burnley made it so good that people were leaving Premiership game to go watch Burnley. Those who were doing sports betting know how much they made if they were betting single game on the back of Burnley. Now, having said that, would you, if you were Vincent Kompany, confidently look at Burnley and say, hasta la vista, thank you very much, my job here is done, and my next job is Tottenham Hotspur? Come on, does that not look like a step down? Does that not look like going back? Yes, they might have a bigger stadium, but going to leave Burnley and go coach at Tottenham Hotspur, when there's a possibility that not too long from here, you will be the next manager for Manchester City. And when you put all that together, because somehow I'm always thinking after Xavi, Pep Guardiola is going to go back to Barcelona. I don't know, but I just keep thinking about that. Probably after Xavi, or one person after Xavi, Pep Guardiola is going to go back to Barcelona. This is my stupid thought. He could also go to Paris Saint-Germain. He could also go back to Bayern Munich. And he could also go to Manchester United. That's me being ridiculous anyway. He could go anywhere. But Vincent Kompany, would you honestly, and it's just sound like you said the word foolishly, would you foolishly leave Burnley? This project that you're doing, this bunch of players that are willing to do everything you say they should do, okay? Would you leave this Burnley and go to Tottenham Hotspur? Remember, Tottenham Hotspur is the acronym or the symbol of no ambition. Would you do that? This is a question I'm leaving on the floor for you guys to answer. We've seen that no Victor Osimhen, Napoli becomes very, very ordinary. We've also seen that in the Champions League, sometimes experience is a very big factor. Experience of Bayern Munich prevail over the kati of Chelsea. The experience of AC Milan prevailed over the Osimhen's Napoli. What is in stock for us next week? These are many conversations I want us to talk, and then whatever air talking point you have for us, bring it on. Let's have a conversation. But until then, let me roll you in with the transfer gist and the rumor that is going on. Burnley's boss, Vincent Kompany, is Tottenham's number one target to replace Antonio Conte, according to the Sun. Manchester City lead Real Madrid in the race to sign Borussia Dortmund Jude Bellingham after Liverpool dropped out of contention to sign the 19-year-old midfielder. And I'm going to bring the Arsenal angle to that conversation after now. West Ham and England's Declan Rice, 24, Brighton's 21-year-old Ecuador international Moises Caicedo, Inter Milan and Italy's Nicola Barella, 26, and Wolves and Portugal 24-year-old Matheus Nunes remain on Liverpool's shortlist for a new midfielder. Barcelona will step up their interest in Ike Gundogan after being impressed with the 32-year-old German midfielder's performance for Manchester City against Bayern Munich, okay, in the Champions League. Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United are monitoring Bayern Munich 20-year-old Netherlands midfielder Ryan Gravenberch. Okay, that's a good player anyway. Tottenham Hotspur, West Ham, and Crystal Palace are all keen on Dutch manager Arne Slot, who has turned Feyenoord into runaway Eredivisie leaders. Okay, they keep going there to go pick their managers. Arsenal are targeting a summer move for Crystal Palace and France under-21 winger Michael Olise. Okay, with a 21-year-old valued at more than 40 million. Well, is that really the guy that Arsenal need? Is that really the guy that Arsenal need? Well, let's see if he would add value to the Arsenal midfield anyway. But I think that Arsenal needs something bigger than that. Arsenal need a midfielder in the creative area that is better than Martin Odegaard. In my opinion, I don't think that Michael Olise is better than Martin Odegaard. But let's see what happens, because Mikel Arteta seems to have the Midas touch of turning Jaburata into something of a good mind. So let's sit back and watch and see who Arsenal will sign. Again, Arsenal is on the top 4 now, so every transfer, everybody in the market will be linked to Arsenal. They can even link right now as it is. Arsenal might be bidding to sign Joe Biden, Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, even Donald Trump, and next story you will hear Arsenal bidding to sign N'Golo Kante. Well, Arsenal previously inquired about signing Chelsea and France midfielder. I'm not telling them. N'Golo Kante 32, according to Le Parisien. Fulham, Aston Villa, and Crystal Palace are interested in Besiktas Portugal midfielder Gedson Fernandes. Okay, 24. The problem about Arsenal and Chelsea link is, why does Arsenal always go to sign the dead players from Chelsea, and Chelsea sign the best quality from Arsenal? I don't understand. N'Golo Kante at this stage, come on, we don't need another Abu Dhabi. Enough of that. Fulham, Aston Villa, and Crystal Palace are interested in Besiktas Portugal midfielder Gedson Fernandes, who is 24 years of age. Liverpool have sent a scout to watch Fulham midfielder João Paulinho on several occasions as they consider summer move for the 27-year-old Portuguese international. Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, and Monaco have shown interest in Crystal Palace and Ivory Coast forward Wilfried Zaha, God forbid. And I'm not even completing that story. Leeds United have put a 40 million price tag on 23-year-old French goalkeeper Ilian Messilia. Okay, let's hope that anybody that wants to sign in are interested in paying that money. And then let's go forward. French 22-year-old right back Sacha Boey, a former target for Crystal Palace who wants to leave Galatasaray with a move to either the Premier League or Bundesliga is priority. Let's see who wins the race for that one. Okay, Image Cristalia, I see you, my first ever producer. We won't be here without this man. Thank you very much, Ika, for what you did when we started this journey. Arsenal will demand 35 million for 21-year-old English striker for Larry Balogun, who is currently on loan at Reims and a target for RB Leipzig. So we already know the price tag, and we know the willingness that Arsenal is willing to sell, because I've been saying, Arsenal, please sell this guy. There is no need trying to keep him or hoping that he will stay, when in the real sense, he's not going to come and be starting. Okay, and Arsenal need strikers that will come in and put pressure on the ones that are already there. Let's not make the mistake Arsenal made with Aubameyang and Lacazette and the rest of them. So sell him, even Eddie Nketiah, sell him, and then bring in, if you can bring in Rafael out, that'll be good. If you can bring in Dusan Vlahovic, that'll be good. But you need to bring in character into that dressing room and let them come, and if they like, they fight each other, they like to punch each other, but let them fight for the jerseys and always look for chance to get the team playing better. Having said that, Ola Matthew on YouTube says that Napoli looks like a one-man team to me. They tend to struggle when Osimhen does not play. Thank God they didn't lose 4 goals to nil last night. Well, that's true. That's another positive way to look at it. If you're out there, you have a comment, let's hear from you. Let's know what you think. Okay, the Nigerian Premier Football League would sooner have something massive to smile about. As a matter of fact, it's a done deal, but we're waiting for the official announcement. Those of you who always go, oh, there's no way to watch the Nigerian League. The Nigerian League cannot be seen. Nobody can follow the Nigerian League. Well, you would have a whole lot to follow now, the Nigerian Premier Football League, because there's a deal with an international partner to make sure that 8 games out of the 10 are streamed, and there's a possibility of all 10 match day live games being streamed anyway. But for the first time, first time in the history of Nigerian League, 8 games will be streamed live. Probably there is this conversation that they will start their test run with the remaining games of this season, and then do with the Super 6, and then from the Super 6 progress. For next season, they will really be on ground. The contract starts from the beginning of next season anyway, and there's the hope that the next season will start in August. GTI and everybody, the TNFF, have done everything possible to make this happen in collaboration with the IMC and the support of the clubs in the league. I'm hoping that there is no last-minute setback, there is no last-minute drawback, everything goes well, and we get it. And somebody said, how does that affect my contract to produce matches? Well, it was a temporary situation for us to just, show up and create something that would attract the attention of people. My joy is the fact that we did just about enough to attract international audience to come on board and do what Nadi can do and offer. It will provide a lot of job for people. It will provide a lot of opportunities, especially the commentators. With 8 games, you need 2 commentators in every game. That means that with 8 games, you have 16 commentators being on duty every match day. For me, that is a plus, coming off the back of the Nigerian Premier Football League. And then there's a whole lot that goes on again with it that would excite everybody. It means that you will be able to see your favorite player and get close to them. So let's say that. So what role will you be playing? Well, I mean, I'm an expert in doing the magazine shows and doing documentary, and I'm still in the driver's seat to do that. But it's not just me alone. There are other people who will be willing and interested to do that. So we will see how that goes at the end of the day. And for next season, I'm just smiling. I'm feeling good. Feeling good because there's nothing as exciting as believing in something, and everybody's moving in a different direction, and you say, no, I'm not going to go that direction. I'm going to go this way. And then now you're seeing it coming to fruition. It's not easy, The easiest part is to carry your family and japa. I mean, which was very possible. But then setting this up and sitting it out and saying, you know what, this is what I want to do. I think that every country that people are running into and trying to go and enjoy it is the people of those countries, the citizens of those countries that roll up their sleeve and said, you know what, we die here. Let's fix our country. It is us or no one. And you see what those countries have become. So I think that that's the force that drove me since 2017. To be very honest, I've had more than enough opportunity to run away people, my wife's family, my wife's friends, my wife. This thing about jackpotting is people jackpot, they get bored, and then they start looking for somebody who's their friend over here in Nigeria that they will confuse and convince to come and join them in all those conversations. And believe me, women do get this kind of conversation. For men, you just know people, you quickly let people know where you stand. You quickly let people know where you stand. Anybody who's my friend, who's close to me, whether you're in Nigeria or you're in the diaspora, you know where I stand. You know that I'm not going anywhere. And you are either going to accept it and like me for it, or you're going to also accept it and resent me for it. But I really don't care. I don't have a problem with that. Resentment is not something you can do to me now and it affect me. I grew up with resentment. I grew up being hated. I grew up being called a slave. I grew up being called all sorts of names. So it's not really a big deal. Like, oh, that's somebody told me the other day that I need to go and see a therapist. Like, I need to be doing therapy. You're really serious, right? You're really, really serious. I go and pay somebody and tell the person, okay, the bitterness that I went through growing up and I can't overcome it. What kind of idiot am I myself to be doing that? So I'm not going to say a therapist, but I'm just saying that that's the kind of place that I find myself, and I'm happy with my position and my decision. And for those people who always tell me, oh, I pity for you. No, don't pity for me. I'm part of a revolution that is going on in this country. And let's be very honest, almost everybody who is in the abroad wish for a better Nigeria so that they can come back to that better Nigeria. Now, if you keep asking some of the brightest minds and some of the toughest minds to run away, who's going to fix that brighter Nigeria that you're looking forward to? Because that's the way countries like Haiti refuse to grow. Because anybody that is just good enough runs to America. Anybody, Puerto Rico, anybody that just have a little talent, run to the Bronx, run to the US. go and start music career or movie or doing something that set up business. Everybody is running like that. We will continue to be like this because the example we set is that the only hope for survival is in abroad. Am I against you going abroad? Nah. But don't go abroad and then start putting unnecessary peer pressure on the people that are here to go. If they call you and say, oh, I want to relocate, I need your help, your advice, and guidance because you've done it, that's a different thing. But please, and then again, another set of people that I like to talk to is those people who, once they go abroad, they start thinking that the abroad is good. And so for that reason, Nigeria is not a zoo, Nigeria is not a useless place. Hello. Enjoy the abroad. If that abroad is so good, why? It's like you leave your ex, you're dating somebody else that is everything that your ex is not. But every time you talk about your ex. I think you have a problem. Your ex is still the best thing that happened to you. So don't be in that you're abroad and be bashing Nigeria. Now that you find yourself in a good place, a place where they dash people money, where money grow on the street, where you don't have to even walk, you get paid, where you don't have to stress yourself, you don't pay school fees, house rent is free, car, anytime you want to go out, you just say, cars just come and pick you up. Enjoy it. Leave us to suffer. Okay, you don't really care, so don't bash us. Okay, that's just the way I say it. Well, Adija Lavoma on YouTube said Chelsea Todd and the owners are confused. Okay, well, Henry Morris said last night match shows that Napoli are nowhere without Osimhen. Had he played last night, Milan would lose with all the chances Napoli created. But then again, Osimhen might play next week, and there's not going to be Minja Kim in that game. There's also not going to be Andre Zombo Aguiza in that game. So my question to you is this a bridge too far? I know it's 1-0 and anything is possible. Napoli can still come back into it. Even with 2 goals down, people come back and win games. But is this a bridge too far for Napoli? And is Osimhen coming a game too late as it is right now? I'm not sure they will let him play over the weekend in the Italia Serie, even though they have 4 more games to become 4 more wins to become champions. They win 12 points now. They will amass a point where nobody, unassailable point. Is it a game too early or a game too late? Sorry, no, a game too late for him to come back. And can they work the magic at the Maradona? One thing that I can guarantee is that there will be smoke, there will be flare. That stadium will be packed full. There will be noise. I think there will be no more fans incidents than players incidents in that game. And most likely there might be red card because it's going to be combative, it's going to be combustive, it's going to be crazy. I mean, I'm thinking of people who would buy ticket to go watch that game. It's going to be mad. It's going to be a madhouse. As we say over here in Nigeria, it's going to be mad. But would Napoli be able to overturn the result? That's something that I want to know. Yami Dynamite say Todd predicted fake prophecy. The man must not know who Madrid be when it comes to the UCL. I'm telling you, my dear sister. He said, good morning, big Uncle E. I fell for Napoli yesterday because if only Osimhen play yesterday, I am 98% sure the story this morning won't be what it is. I agree with you as well on that one. I can't even argue because it's as true as daylight, okay? Everything you just said is as true as daylight. But may God help Napoli. That's all I can say right now because it doesn't really seem like there's a way out. It's a grand problem and a tie problem for Victor Osimhen, and I feel for him. He's had a great season. Not necessarily will be a bad season if they don't win the Champions League, but there'll be this talk of if only he didn't go to Nigerian game, and then to think that the Nigerian game over 2 legs, we won only one and lost the other one, and kind of like feels like what if Osimhen didn't come and we still go on to win? What's the big deal? Okay, and he's safe for his club and he helped them go far in the competition. But then again, people would have killed him. Yes, I don't know if you are saying good morning, but I want good morning to you on Instagram and keep it pushing. So if I'm skipping your comment, is because sometimes I get bored with this greeting thing. I keep saying let's come in. I know that it's our culture. We like to greet and it's fine, but on the show, I think it's bores the listeners. It makes them not to want to come back. Let's just go straight. If you greet, just go straight and then comment. Make your comment. There are things to talk about. You can't say that there are no talking points. If you spot over there's a whole lot of talking points. Even the ones that we're not talking about, you can bring it to the fore so that we say it. And then you know what? See, the quality of the question brings out the quality of the analysis. You want some good analysis, you have to ask the questions, and then it comes out. Okay, it's like your ATM, what's called ATM card and the ATM. The quality of the money on the inside is what determines what money you get. We're not today's Nigeria anyway. You can have a billionaire in your ATM and you put it on that ATM, they'll still give you 20,000, 10,000, or sometimes 5,000. Damilik said, leaving Burnley would be a very bad decision. That is for Vincent Company. Damilik said, my leader, Elegbete, good morning to you. And then he went on to say, all the fixtures are already decided already. Are you sure? Are you sure? Benfica can just pull a surprise in Milan. Chelsea. Just the thought that I want to say something stupid is making me laugh. Chelsea can just bounce back and just change everything. Frank Lampard just go there. Just change everything and turn Chelsea to beat Real Madrid 5-0. It's a possible thing. It's a possibility. Yeah. There's nothing impossible. You know that Igbo people song, who made the possibility possible, who made the possibility Jehovah Chelsea, who made the possibility possible. Yeah, it can just happen. Well, the Chelsea fans, all of them, they are hiding today. I've not seen them. Where is all these Chelsea fans that we use are. But Amelie said Napoli have won many games without Osimhen, Farastella's guy, and Lobotka are guys that make the team thick. Osimhen is just a final piece. I disagree with you. This season, last season, when they were on the roll and on course to win the league title, they lost the league title because Osimhen didn't play. Remember, they lost the league title by 4 points, if I'm not mistaken. The games that Osimhen didn't play was because that's why the owner went on that run that he's not going to sign African players again. Again, this season, we've seen games where Farasella was not around and they won. Earlier, when they lost this season, Osimhen was not in the best of form and it affected the team. Again, look at the games. They've lost in all competition. They lost 5 games this season. In all competition, 5 games. How many of them? 2, Osimhen was part of it. The other 3, Osimhen is not part of it. Statistically, that tells you something. Okay, so I'm not going to agree with you completely. It's a final piece, but that final piece that matters the most. Okay, Kenneth Tukim, he says, good morning, Elegote, good morning to you. This one, you're wearing a Bayern jersey. Please, do you believe in any comeback in Munich? Comeback, man. And they're my partners. Well, this is for business. And this month is the Bayern Youth Cup. And I'm going to Enugu to go and do production for the Bayern Youth Cup and all that. That's why. This is a professional thing. This is a professional courtesy. This is business, okay? Yeah, partners, and I think I owe them that much, okay, to promote the event, okay? CH Phillips 22 say, please, so what's the chance that Man United will beat Sevilla? I mean, you're not going to have Rashford, so it's really, really difficult. But Sevilla have not been doing well this season. My smart money is on Man United to win. My smart money is on them to win. And, Man United is not really extremely as bad as that, but without Rashford, where would the goals come from? But I think that they have enough in them. They have quality, they have the stability, they have the midfield, the defense, and the attack to be able to get the job done. But Rashford missing seems to be the one athlete. It's like the Osimhen of the team, the one athlete for goals. So that might just affect him anyway. Damili say, Yusuf laugh for Chelsea. My God, the matter is to laugh. It's funny now. For me to talk, say Chelsea go reverse 2-0 against Real Madrid. Real Madrid will not know the difference between home and away. Real Madrid are the god of the Champions League. When they play Champions League, you're praying, God, let Madrid mistake. Let them knock them out in the group stage early or the round of 16. Real Madrid get to this stage, like if they get to the semi-finals now, even Man City said, go do fasting and prayer. Even Pep Guardiola will not say, oh God, not again. So it's going to be pretty difficult for that to happen. Well, let's look at some other headlines that's been in the sporting world. People talking different things in the sporting space. Yes, one of the headlines that I saw in Daily Mail, Olivia Holt wrote, he said, despite Todd Boehly's bold prediction, the only surprise was that Real Madrid won just 2-0. It's hard not to look at Chelsea in wonder at how little you get for 600 million these days, 600 million pounds these days. Okay, and then there is this one from Gary Neville where he's ranting. He said this is dereliction of duty. It's shameful They always say somebody dereliction of duty is when somebody have abandoned their job, somebody is not responsible and doing their job. Okay, there's a book called Dereliction of Duty that they talked about that somebody, one of the personal aid of Bill Clinton wrote about the Bill Clinton era and how we live this life. Okay, it blames Glazer for Old Trafford Euro 2028 snub. Okay, describing it as an all-time low for Manchester United, as a cause for American owners to sell the club as quickly as possible. Nobody wants to go do business at a club where the stadium is dilapidated. That's just the truth. So don't get angry. Vincent Company is Tottenham's first choice to take over this summer after Antonio Conte's departure last month, with the current Burnley boss attracting interest from a number of clubs. Why? Leave him there. Sadio Mane punched Leroy Sané in the face after Bayern Munich's Champions League defeat by Manchester City, with teammate forced to separate the fighting stars in the dressing room. Thomas Tuchel, you're in trouble. Your dressing room is a dead place right now. Damilik say Man City versus Real Madrid will be so tough. Yes, I just hope that they come there that day, because I know what would happen. Pep Guardiola, if he loses, people will come back with that overthinking talk. If he wins, they will say, "Oh, they use money, money to the win matches." Okay, so we already know all those lazy analysts. Well, somebody said he hasn't understood what is happening. Jamie Carragher criticizes Marc Cucurella for his role in Ben Chilwell's sending off against Real Madrid after Rodrygo was hauled down. Yes, he really did not understand. Thomas Zuluchas withdraws bid to buy Manchester United ahead of third round bidding, as the Finnish entrepreneur brands the process a farce, and it says the Glazer family are giving no respect to the club. I told you guys here on this show some time ago that I do not think that the Glazers wants to sell. They are testing the water. They want to make the fans feel like, oh, we're really interested in selling. It's just that the buyers don't have the money that we're calling. I don't think that he really wants to sell. And with the recent result, they were beginning to think that, oh, Man United are back. They are going to go up. But listen, if they don't sell it, Manchester United are going to go back again into a deeper form, because it's already looking like that. They're going to go back into a deeper form again where they fall out of the top four and struggle. And I know Man United fans don't like me saying these things, just like Chelsea fans are not happy when I said they will go another 5 years without winning the Premier League, and probably go consecutively without making the top four in the English top flight. But hey, it is what it is. It's not me that is making it. It's just the fact that your club have become a mirror image of Tottenham Hotspur, even though it's small time. Tottenham Hotspur is a lifetime, but your team is becoming a mirror image of Tottenham Hotspur, and it's becoming disgrace. Who wants to come if they are in the Europa Conference League? Joko fears Chelsea will struggle to attract big names players this summer, but says they must buy a proper number 9. They have Aubameyang, the new time for the Champions League. Is that not a proper number 9? As it predicts a big coup of their bloated squad. Okay. Joko went on to say, believe once in a generation talent Jack Grealish should have 100 England caps by now, and Gareth Southgate should build his side around him as winger excels for Manchester City. You see, the thing about English people is they don't really, no wonder players from England don't win Ballon d'Or. They don't really have these players that play top quality football on a consistent basis. So when you have just one, they kind of like rate them very high, over the top. You almost want to think, when you hear English media or the analysts or the pundits say these things that they say about Jack Grealish, you almost want to wash your eye and say, it's either a minute they see the ball or something. Yes, no argument, he has improved this season. But if you're £100 million and your improvement is just the ability to cross the ball, then I don't understand. But hey, that's how they see him right now. They see him as the greatest guy. And we saw the skills and the ability of Don Carlo as the ball came to him and he juggled on both feet with one hand in his pocket. Oh, what a show! What a bloody Italian show! And these guys are just, on a different way, wearing a three-piece suit and being able to juggle the ball from right leg to left leg and back to right leg and taking it up and then wafting it up in the up in the air and showing Rhys James and the rest of the Chelsea players how to keep the ball under control, how to control the ball, how to speak to the ball, and the ball listens to you. Oh my God, Coach Ayre, come and do these things for me since I don't want to go back to coaching. I'm focusing on media. Oh God, my God, Coach Ayre. should be doing all this effigy. Yeah, sometimes just do it and pretend like you're not showing off, but you know that you're showing off. You know, like me. Sometimes I just show off, but even though I pretend like I'm not showing off. And as the show progresses, let me say very big thank you. Give honor to who it is due, flowers to who it is due. Yesterday, Ali Baba was a mentor in my school, and I invited him to come and mentor my students, but he ended up teaching me some very beautiful, brilliant life skills, life hacks, and all that. And just came in. I know what Ali Baba brings, so I prepared 2 boards because I know that 1 board will not be enough. I prepared 2 boards for the class, and when he started, he drew a box in the middle, and then start, life. You are the guy in the middle, family, entertainment, skills, work ethics, your weakness, your strength, and all these things that he brought in. The video will be uploaded on the YouTube channel, and you can learn a thing or two from what is shared at a co-bit. I mean, what's the use of keeping it private if the idea is to help everybody to learn? And then again, let me just remind you guys, if you know Darren Lewis, it's one guy that I love to listen to on Sky Sports. I don't listen to everybody, but there are certain people, when they talk, you have to listen. I don't care how good you are, but you have to learn from everybody. Everybody, even foolish people, you learn from them. Even when Carragher and Gary Neville are going in the very foolish way of analyzing football, talking like they didn't even play the game, you still have to listen to them. Because sometimes in between the foolish ramblings and rabble-rousing that they do, there's still some sense and some bantering and all that. So, but this guy is one that I listen to. When I listen to him with keen and rapt attention, because there's always something coming out of his mouth that you love. It's like listening to Peter Drury doing commentaries. I know that I've given up any hope or thought of doing football commentaries again, but I still like to listen to some of the best commentators. And so as an analyst that I would be forever, no matter how much business, how much money I have, I will still be analyzing football. I like to listen to this guy, Darren Lewis. He's the assistant editor at Daily Mail. He writes for the Mirror as well, writes for CNN and ESPN and a host of others. And he's always on Sky Sports. So I spent some time to listen to him. And I just enjoy his work, his body of work, his craft and everything. And so I reached out to him. I was like, I want to have this guy. I want to interview him, especially now that I'm going into production and we have a website. We'll have in the not too distant future, we're moving into the phase of earning money. Okay, we will be working hard since to establish this brand. We're working towards the phase of earning money. And what do we do with the money? We'll start employing people. We'll start employing, professional writers or young writers that will groom to become professionals. And then I reached out to him and said, I want to interview you with an intention to learn from what the English media, because most times we talk about the league without talking about the role of the media, what the English media have done to power a league that is not really that sophisticated, not really that good, to become one of the best in the world. And I also want to ask, what's the secret behind an English coach not being able to win the Premier League in the last 30 years? And then, what's the agenda? Like in the back room, as an editor, what do you guys tell your reporters, your writers to write about, to focus on when the league is about to start? So what's the story, the paradigm, the agenda for each season that makes it so globally viral? English language is not the most spoken language in the world, but the league is so globally viral. What's the plugins that you guys get? It's one thing is to have a smartphone, but imagine you're having a smartphone without all the app, without WhatsApp, without this one, Twitter, without Facebook on it. I mean, it's just a stupid smartphone, right? So all the plugins that you guys are put into the league, that's the question I want to ask him when we do our interview later today. And when I reached out to him, he was excited. Oh yeah, good, he's interested. But then the time is the problem. So we'll be going back and forth on the time. And he finally agreed. I wanted a 1-hour interview. He said he doesn't have that time. He finally agreed that he's going to do it for 15 minutes. Now, in that 15 minutes, my head is burning. As I sit with you doing this show, I'm saying to myself, what am I really going to ask in 15 minutes? I know I used 30 minutes. I mean, the best 30 minutes I've ever done was when I had Mario Leo of Result Sports, the guy who helps the German Bundesliga and some other teams across Europe with data and statistics. I think that's one of my best interviews that I've done recently. I also love the one I did with Martin Tyler. That's like a father and son thing. The one I did with David Dean, I love that one as well. But I think that in 30 minutes, I've not been able to compress a good interview for 30 minutes, but that one was really exciting for me. Now I have 15 minutes. It's another test of character for me to be able to find quality, squeeze out quality for 15 minutes and hope that I could convince him to do another one with me subsequently that will be longer. Now, the thing is, I'm going to ask you guys for help here. When we post these interviews eventually, the amount of comment and reaction that it gets helps us, makes it easy for us to talk to somebody else. Because once you do, they ask you, okay, send me the link to your channel, send me the work that you've done before. And then they go and look at it and say, oh, people don't even view your work. People don't even comment on your work. So it's hard for them to say yes. So I'm going to appeal to you. You guys have now become the gang, the family, the people that makes this channel tough and thick and going. Please, when we post these things, like the Kanayo, I think the Kanayo interview that we put out was nice. That's just the way I see it. And I'm trying not to make them too long sometimes. Just okay, just give them a short one, especially the ones with the celebrities. Let's give them a short one and see what happens. And when the reaction is big, it's easy for Kamayana to tell somebody else, oh, I mean, these guys came to interview me, and I like the reaction of the people. So please, when you comment on these things, when you see this video, please do what to comment, like it, and give us the opportunity to be able to talk to a lot more people, because it's really hard. I won't tell you lies. It's really hard, and especially when you look at YouTube, you look at all the people channel, the ASNAF, the FTV, the United Stands, and all the channels where they have loads of comments, and then you're coming to tell them, and they have the option to choose. Obviously, nobody's going to choose you when only 7 people or 10 people are commenting on your content, when they have other people who have hundreds of thousands of comments on it. So please help us in that regard. When you watch, please do what to drop a comment and help us to be able to bring in some of that big name. I mean, we're still negotiating with the Arsene Wenger team to have a conversation. I may not like his time as manager at Arsenal, but his opinions are something that we need to really get into some of the inner workings of FIFA and the rest of them. I really want to talk to them as well too. So please do well to do that. And I say thank you to those of you who view and comment already. And it's not easy. I mean, I didn't give you data, it's your data, but please help us to go multiple steps further. Having said that, let's look at the games that will go down tonight in the UEFA Europa Cup. There's a lot of games, and a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen. There's a quarterfinal stage now. There's a Conference League as well. It's going to be Feyenoord versus Roma. And this game is going to be close. I'm thinking that Roma will go through this one. I don't know how the result will turn out to be. But then I think that Bayern Leverkusen will go through over Royal Union SG. Juventus Sporting, that's another very close game. Again, Juventus, the kind of form that they display these days, you really can't bet on them, but I think they'll win this one. Manchester United, Sevilla, everybody's worried about this one, but I think that Manchester United will win. That's my thought anyway. I might be wrong, but I think that they will win. Genk versus West Ham. West Ham don't look at me like they are different in the Conference League than they are in the Premier League. So I'm going to go with West Ham to win this one. And Anderlecht, Isiakma, that's going to be goals in this one for both teams. So I don't know who's going to win. FC Basel playing against Niels. I think Basel will win at home. Lech Poznan playing against Fiorentina. This is another tricky game that I don't know. It could go anywhere. Yeah, it's okay. Ajayi, how are you doing? Thank you for joining in on the live on Instagram. Let me go see what's going on YouTube. We're almost done. And so let me see. Oluwadari Showomi says, will Chelsea ever win a match till the season ends? They most likely would. They most likely. I can't place it that team, the kind of players that they have, that they can't win. But it doesn't look like they are interested in winning. Okay, when I mean that they're not interested in winning, it looks to me like they are just comfortable with, okay, we know we're not going to qualify for Europe. Let's just start from ground zero. Or probably Todd, yesterday I was playing with one idea in my head. I said, what if Todd had told these guys that, you know what, let's start this team off the back of ground zero? Because it's something that Americans like. Americans like a comeback story. Americans like to create their own unique story and say, you know what, when we took over this team, the team went as low as ground zero. Americans will now describe it with some big adjective and said it were, when Todd Boehly and his partner came in, bought over Chelsea on the back of the war in Ukraine, and it was a very terrible time. It was hard. Even in London, they were depressed. There was a whole lot on the other side in North London. Even the Ukrainian Zinchenko that was playing for Arsenal, that was trying to raise their spirit. They were always feeling depressed. Remember when Liverpool, had a player called Trent Alexander-Arnold? I was talking Chelsea, but since like it's Arsenal, dribble past the Ukrainian like Russian army and bombed the Arsenal goal with the Brazilian, scoring, and the hope was done. And we at Chelsea, we were also feeling down. We were overrun by Real Madrid. Every team in the Premier League was beating us. We didn't have Champions League. We didn't have Europa. Even in the conference, we were not there. And then we brought in the American magic and the American star. And then we talked to these players. We spoke to them and we told them that they are eagles and they are not just regular chickens and all that. And then before you know it, they soared to the very highest heavens and they became the most powerful team in the world. Yeah, that's illusion. That's fantasy. That's fantasy. Talking about fantasy, I've not since November. I've not checked my fantasy team. I went to go and check the team. 9 of my players are all injured. I didn't even know. Some players have been transferred out of the league. They are still in my team. I don't understand. Oh God, I look at the team and I laugh. I was like, this is why I don't do fantasy, because it's not really that important to me. But I'm going to try and see if I can change them and be substituting them to the end of the season. Our superstar general in the house, and DJ Lavoma is saying it's just like Abramovich don't cost Chelsea. The board just they spend their money, buy players, then waste money, rent Momo coach. Oh God, I like this guy. When somebody vent anger in pidgin English is so sweet. It's kind of romantic. Anger in pidgin English is orgasmic as far as I'm concerned. Adisha Lavoma said, it's funny, Sha, with Chelsea. Soon, by the time they hire the right coach, okay, players don't lose sense and some key players go down verse. Won't come out. At this rate, 5 players without a single trophy, 5 years without a single trophy. They're going to go past that at this rate. Okay, when you look at Chelsea, you know what amazes me the most with Chelsea? It's the fact that a player like Thiago Silva is always the best player every game they play. How can Thiago Silva, who's facing retirement, being the best player in a team that have pretty much all these young players, exciting talent? Let's look at the squad yesterday that Frank Lampard played. You know that sometimes you blame a coach that, the coach didn't put the right set of players, the selection was bad. You can't do that of Frank Lampard. As much as I know, okay, as an English coach, kind of that on, they don't get anything. Their destiny is upside down. But you look at the squad and you say to yourself, let's be honest. Let's speak the truth and put the devil to shame. Is there a player that started this game that shouldn't have started? And my neighbors, I've got young boys, bachelors, group of young boys as my neighbors. And when a lot of them are Chelsea fans, okay, 2 of my neighbors are Chelsea fans. When the selection, the team list comes out 1 hour before the game. When it came out and they were excited that, Papa last selection, or Ghana last selection. And they talked about the fact that they were playing 3 at the back, Koulibaly, Silva, and Fofana. And the first thing I asked them is, why are you excited? Say, and this system, Man City beat Bayern Munich. And I said, does your team play like Bayern? Does your team play like Man City? Do you have a coach like Pep Guardiola? Does your player even understand what it means to play for a club like Chelsea? And they're like, no, this system, that midfield, 5 players across the midfield. Reece James will bring in the crosses. Raheem Sterling there, go run down the people. Young Felix. And I said, okay, why didn't he start Kai Havertz? Kai Havertz, they kill the team. But look at the team very well. Across that midfield, you have Reece James, N'Golo Kante, Enzo Fernandez, who's deserved to be there, Kovacic, and Chilwell until he was red carded. And then up front, it was Raheem Sterling and João Felix. Now, the only contribution that I saw Raheem Sterling do was to commit Camavinga to a yellow card. Other than that, that one didn't do nothing. Yes, it was Camavinga. He didn't do nothing. The rest of the guys were just there. The biggest problem of this game was that Real Madrid did not score as much as you would expect them to score. That's why we're still talking about this game and hoping that the return leg would happen. So my question is always, where are the goals going to come from? Chelsea have gone 4 games now without scoring a goal. They might still go, I think they're playing Brighton next. They might still go again this weekend and not score a goal. After Brighton have been robbed by VAR, the referees and everybody who want to remedy it and appeals to them and help them to win a game. So Chelsea is facing another defeat in front of them unless miracles happen. Well, this is where I draw the curtain on the show. It's been a good time on the show this morning. 1 whole hour of talking sports with you guys. So we're good to go. Please, I'm begging. This is not my first. This is me begging you. Please help me, help us all here for the work that we put in. Please do comment on the content, the videos that we put out, the interviews, the documentaries, and all that. Help us to push it so that it'll be easy for us. When we approach other people, they will know that okay, there's a huge human traffic here. There's a huge human traffic. There's a body of human traffic here that if we go on this platform, people will see us, people will hear us. People want to be heard, people want to be seen. And we don't want to get an impression that we're just doing content and dumping it on the World Wide Web and nobody is seeing it. Please do well to subscribe, click on the notification button, and as well do well to talk to your friends about us, what we do here. If you like it, we know we don't show big breasts and big yansh and naked pictures here, but we still make some sense. Okay, we're contributing very, very hard to make things reasonable and entertaining. Please do well to help us to grow in that process. We'll do our part. We need you guys to do your part. And as I sign out, Image Cristelia, the first ever producer we ever had on this station. Without this man, it's upon the block that we build on his hard work, his resilience, his studio, his equipment, his time, everything. If you ever love what we did, Precious Moment, this guy was the backbone of Precious Moment. Also, Sports Asilioti was part of the team, making a lot of sacrifice as a father with kids and wife and all that sacrifice that we would never forget. Okay, it was there for us. He said, "Nice show, boss. Thank you very much." CB Phillips, he said, "What time is the interview?" So it's going to be an offline interview. When we're done, we'll upload it. You see it. I don't like putting people on live interview anymore because, especially it's 15 minutes, it's going to be too much of distraction. It's going to be an offline. When we're done, we'll upload it, clean it up, and then we'll upload it. That's the way I've planned to do it these days. And then Udjila say Chelsea has no hope to score goals. Thank you very much, everybody. My name once again is Daffy Matthias. You're going to love to come in Elegota One Sports. It's been the Sports Buffet on Elegota TV Radio. God bless you and have yourself a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
My name is Frank E. Dear Alapa, that's my name. Talking sports, my game. And I am the greatest. I love listening to Elegota TV Radio. For undiluted, unadulterated, it's probably replicated, but still not yet duplicated. It's sports only on Elegota TV Radio. I seriously love listening to it.
Hello, everybody. What's up, people? My name is Timmy Dakolo, and you're listening to Elegota TV Radio. Stay tuned.
Mesdemoiselles, mesdames et messieurs, je vous dis bonsoir. Je